Alright guys, in this video I want to talk to you about a technique that you can use to find your next FBA product. And if you're already selling on Amazon, the chances are you already know what your next product is going to be. So what is this technique? Well, it's not really a technique per se, but it is the concept of launching multiple products in the same niche. Now a lot of people talk about this as in branding, and branding does come into play here. However, what I'm talking about is dominating a marketplace and using your brand as a weapon or as a tool to do that. So the first reason why, and I've got 5 reasons, is the brand recognition. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's take for example, if you were searching for kitchen scales. Now in the UK, Salter is a very popular brand of kitchen scales. And if we scroll past the first 2 sponsored listings, positions 1, 2, 3, and they've got a couple of listings further down the page. Let's bring up Jungle Scale. So in this first page of search results, Salter have got, I believe, 5 sets of scales listed on there. Now, firstly, what does that mean? It means they're competing with themselves, but it doesn't really. What it means is they've ticked off 5 other competitors off that front page. So rather than taking 1 piece of the pie, they're taking 5 pieces of the pie. And if you look here, if they had just launched 1 product in this niche, say, and let's be generous, say that 1 product was the most successful product they were ever going to launch and it was the best possible ever, and they were doing 2,500 sales or 2,500 units per month. But then you look down, they've also launched these additional products, another 1,500, another 1,250, another 600 there, and another 400 there. So you add them up, probably just over 6,000 units per month they are now getting from one niche with 5 products. And it goes to show the power that, or the possibility that you can launch within multiple products within that one niche. Now I know you're probably thinking, okay, but Salter are a big brand, so let's try something a bit more obscure. Now I mentioned picnic blankets in previous videos. It was a product that I was considering at one point. So Song Mix are pretty much the leading picnic private labeler on Amazon. And if you go through this, when you search for picnic blanket, initially they've got their sponsored banner at the top. I'm not a huge fan of these. However, if you're dominating a niche, this is more powerful than it is if you're just selling 1 product, because as soon as someone hits picnic blankets, mentally, subconsciously, they're associating Song Mix and these blankets with picnic blankets. And as you scroll down, although the first 2 are sponsored, that goes further. So the first thing someone's seen here is 5 products from the same company. And scroll down further. Okay, the organic one isn't, but then the Song Mix there, 1, 2, 3. So they've got 3 organic listings on that front page. And believe me, when I was looking at this a month or 2 ago, they had like 5 or 10 in the top kind of page of results. So let's just bring these up. So you can see everyone's doing quite well on this front page. So just because you're doing 800 units a month doesn't mean you have to stop there. Let's launch another one, a different design, another 750 units. They're bringing there. Then another one, another 400 units. And it just goes to show that within any niche, you shouldn't just go, right, this is my opportunity, I've taken that. Because what you would have done from going through that process is found other opportunities that you may not have fulfilled with your first product. Or you may be able to launch your product in a different design or a different size, or any other number of choices, whether it's different material or different quantity. There's various things you can do. So the first one, brand recognition, is the most important, because if you're scrolling through here, whether it's the kitchen scales and you're seeing Salter, or whether it's on the picnic blankets and you're seeing Song Mix, if you scroll through these first 5 and then the first one was Wolfwise, to me I'm like, well, who on earth are Wolfwise? These guys are obviously dominating. So I'd be keep scrolling down and I'd be looking at the brand that pops up most, and that's quite, I think a lot of people do subconsciously do that. They'd rather buy a brand that's selling multiple products because they believe they're a specialist in that area. Someone that's selling 5 picnic blankets is probably good at making picnic blankets versus someone who just sells 1 picnic blanket. I'm not saying that's always the case, but I think as a general rule, you'll do well if you've got more products, taking more of the real estate, because you'll get more sales, but also you get that brand recognition from people believing your product is probably better because you're selling more products in that niche. So after brand recognition, we then have, you already understand the niche and the product. So there's various things I mean when I want to say that. You've spent 2 weeks tracking the product, so you know what the sales are like. You know whether it's seasonal, how many units you're going to be expecting to sell per month and per day, and how many people are actually selling that. So if only 2 or 3 people are selling what you want to sell per day, maybe you don't want to launch another product in that niche. But if there's 10, 15 sellers doing the type of quantities that you're happy doing, then it shows there's room for you to enter the market more than once, maybe 3-4 times if you can come up with the right variations. You also get to know the competition, And you probably think that isn't a huge issue, but it is on Amazon, because what you want to find is you want to find what I'll call clean competitors. So if you're in a niche where people are submitting fraudulent, trademark infringements or posting dodgy reviews and stuff like that, you may want to move on to a different niche. But if you've been in a niche for a couple of months and you've had no issues, then it shows it's quite good, and the competitors are behaving themselves. It makes you more likely to want to launch another product in that niche. You also know what pitfalls to avoid with the product, so you'd have seen what products sell well, ones don't, you'd have read the negative reviews, and all of that together, that information you can use to then make another product that's even better, or it doesn't have to be better, it could just be different to the first product that you've already launched. And from going through this entire process, you'd have brought samples in, so you'd be familiar with what material choices to use, what sizes work well, what quantities work well, and you can use all of that to come up with these new products. And based on the cost you would have established from your first product, in your mind you'll know roughly what it will cost to make a second product. So if you're thinking, right, I'm going to change the colour of this, I'm going to change the size, I'm going to add these features based on what you've discussed previously with your supplier, you can very quickly just go, well, that's probably going to add $0.50 or $1 to my overall unit cost. And the other thing you'll know from understanding the niche and product and having imported before, you'll know roughly what your shipping costs are going to be, how much you're paying per kilo, whether you've got to use sea shipping or air freight. You're also going to know what your customs duty is and the VAT. So all of that stuff you will know up front. It's not going to be a big mystery like it was with your first product, and it saves you so much time, and you can enter this second product or third product with so much more confidence, knowing that you already know that niche inside out. The other thing is you can reuse a lot of existing materials. And what do I mean by that, or materials or items, is you've had your logo designed, which usually you'll be able to reuse anyway. But say, for example, if you decided to stay within a particular, let's say, a fishing niche, and you developed a nice logo with some sort of fish theme to it, then you could easily reuse that if you were launching more products within that niche. You're also going to have done product insert and packaging designs and follow-up sequences. All of that can just be very easily tweaked to another product if they're very, very similar, rather than really big redesigns if it was in a completely different sector. And one of the key things, and that is you've already got an established relationship with a supplier that you trust. And that is invaluable to have, because you know you've got someone, when you email them, they're going to respond, they're going to have good communication skills, they're going to deliver what you pay for, then they're going to give you what you order. And you'd have already placed your first order. So your first order, you might have chosen to use trade assurance and PayPal, or trade assurance and credit card, which can be a little bit more expensive on the fees. But now you're happy with them, you might be able to place your next order just using trade assurance with a bank transfer to keep the fees down. And there's things like that, these all add up to make this second product a lot easier to launch and a much safer bet. The other benefit as well, if you're sourcing two products from the same supplier, which I do, I quite often bring in two batches at the same time. So I just have to organise one collection with the freight forwarder. You can have multiple products within a batch when you create an Amazon shipment. So at the moment I've got two products coming, and they're both in the same shipment. I've got 900 of one and 800 of another. So I've got a massive shipment coming in, all being handled by one supplier, one freight forwarder, and one shipping plan within Amazon. So it really helps keep things simple as well. And then finally, again, this is another invaluable piece of the puzzle to succeeding on Amazon. If you have already sourced, enhanced and launched a product within a niche, you have a proven formula that you can repeat. And nowhere is that more important than that's your launch strategy itself. So if you spent 3-4 weeks or longer launching on Amazon, and you've got a PPC campaign on Amazon that you can just duplicate, tweak slightly for the new product and reuse, I mean, you're already at a huge advantage than you were when you first launched your first product and a blank canvas to start with. So you can reuse your PPC. If you've got any Facebook ads, whether they're image ads or video ads, you can tweak those and use the same demographics. And one thing I found very powerful, my first two products were in a very similar niche. I found a lot of groups, Facebook groups, where I could advertise. And then when I launched my second product, I just contacted those same groups again. And straight away got my product with an optimized PPC campaign, a tweaked Facebook video, and the group adverts. The second product was really, really easy to launch, or say easier to launch. So there's various reasons for launching a product or multiple products in the same niche. It's not all about just building a brand. The brand recognition does play a big part, but there's lots of other benefits too. Hopefully you'll find this enlightening. If you found this video useful, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel.